Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Borderlands 2. So, it's been a long time since I've played and I have no freaking clue why I am at this point in Borderlands 2. I know we need to do the DLC. We've got like some weird things going on certainly though. We are at the beginning of the game. But we're on my regular playthrough. Like, this isn't true Vault Hunter mode. So I'm hoping what I can do is run really fast and find a fast travel station to be able to fast travel. See, inherently, it would make sense that there should be a fast travel station in this section to begin with. That way, if you wanted to play the DLC, you could just do it and you really wouldn't have to deal with issues of coming back. See, like $1 here makes no sense. Coming over here, we have a discovered thing already, so there's a like no really good reason to even play through all of this. I don't even think I can. You can see that Claptrap isn't here. He's not talking to me. The door's already open. It just, for some reason, fast traveled me to this point. Alright. So then so that's not too bad. We have different DLCs. Here, we have the Savage Lands, we have a Warm Welcome, and we have the Bloody Harvest. And I know this will be airing mid-December, but we might as well just do the Bloody Harvest, which is probably the Halloween DLC first. So we have that set. As for these, I mean, I guess we could just, let's see, right stick and ignore that, right stick, ignore that. And right stick, ignore that, because yeah, there's no way I'm gonna be able to do this level 50. I wouldn't even probably be able to do it even if I was at level 50. I suppose I could be playing this on New Game Plus, but it doesn't really make sense. And this one starts at level 21, this one starts at level 30, and this one starts at level 21, and we're at level 34, so we're going to be overpowered unless it decides to reset itself once we get in there. And I suppose at some point we will have to come through all of these points and just like fast travel to make sure we're doing all the DLC that's available. I could also go to the main location, Sanctuary, and buy more things. I have a few more keys. I could certainly do that, but let's do that either in the midpoint of the DLC or at a different section. See, and I don't think we're going to get the intro again, unfortunately. I accidentally traveled to these areas. But that shouldn't be too big of a deal. We know we're going to be looking for TK Baja, and that's kind of all I think we need to deal with.
Welcome to Hallowed Hollow, the only community for Pandora's exiled and retired undead.
Zombie TK.
TK Baja. Why don't you come on and find me, would you? Just follow the sound of the blind redneck zombie's voice.
So, the Halloween DLC in Borderlands 1 was pretty spectacular. You really wasn't expecting a lot, and you actually got quite a good response. I want to jump up here and just make sure there's nothing there. I guess we could see if that explodes. And we've got a new U system, which there really hasn't been a new U system in the game up until this point, which makes me suspect there might have been some kind of motivation, or there might be a DLC point in the game that it demands we put on a certain face, which wouldn't be a terrible thought. Like, I'm half thinking I should just put on this skeleton head, which these probably are DLC things. It's funny it says purchase, but really it just means equip. Like, I assume that means equip. Well, apparently not. Maybe it does actually mean purchase, because I'm pressing A and I would assume maybe that's popping up some kind of DLC through Steam that I'm just not seeing because I've disabled the Steam overlay. Wow. Gearbox is kind of greedy in adding these skins and having people actually want to pay for them. They got a little bit greedier. And speaking of Gearbox, I guess they've gotten a little bit greedier even more. Here's a new one. Because they have, in the meantime between last recording and this one, announced Borderlands 2 for PlayStation VR, which is really something I feel like nobody asked for and nobody really wanted, and it's not gonna be much of an experience at all. Like, I don't think it's probably gonna sell that well because it's coming out just at really the wrong time. The beginnings of 2019, the ends of 2018 are going to be full of a lot of games. Yeah, I don't get why these skins say purchase with the asterisks on them. Yeah, and I really don't want to change my appearance. Let's see, we're doing a lot of setup here just to figure out what I have and what I don't have. Raid damage versus this shield. I think I probably was trying to get some challenges done, but there's so many challenges left. Let's go ahead and equip that. And yeah, I kind of seriously need to start just selling things. Because I've got way too many guns. Way too many guns. I didn't realize that slagged weapons. I hate that the music stops too. Slagged weapons work in a different way than what I thought they would. Let's see. Let's start with that. Just make sure we have everything full. Remember, the last thing I did was beat the main game. So yeah, I have a lot of things here that are guns I picked up and didn't bother to sell, because why would I have bothered to sell them and taken a special trip? Let's see, magazine size, Yeah, I don't like that magazine size. Sell that. Let's see. I don't think we need to hold on to that. Maybe I was holding on to that for some reason. Seems like I've got a lot of stuff I was holding on to for no reason.
If you got the money, I'll save your gall darn life.
Alright.
Come on back anytime.
See, that's just a lot of setup, certainly. A lot of setup that we're starting off with. Before we can even walk into this point. Now, I'm fairly certain that there was a Scooby-Doo-esque Halloween-style DLC that was a side part of the Halloween DLC, but I might be wrong. It may have been a side part of some other DLC in the first game. I know there was a Scooby-Doo-esque mission. It was a parody of that, but I'm not 100% sure it was really built around this. TK Baha has proven himself to be a character that just constantly comes back, considering he was killed at the very beginning of the first game. But there is gonna be some questions, certainly, if Borderlands 3 ever comes around, as far as how many of these characters really should come back and will come back. A lot of them won't come back, certainly. And it would feel certainly weird, though, if none of them came back. But I wouldn't be super upset if it was set like 100 years in the future, past the events of Borderlands 2, and all the characters have just become myth. So let's talk to TK.
Lately, a real sourpuss named the Pumpkin Kingpin's been hassling the townsfolk. They're so scared these days, they won't even step outside. Why don't you get out there and give them the old 1-2 for me?
That's kind of weird that his lips are moving. I don't think that that's the way this game worked for the most part. I guess they did. It's been a long time, but I really needed that too. I really needed what has been probably at least a month and a half of a break between the main game and that, because we put so much time in playing. I feel like there's gonna be some kind of challenge for smashing pumpkins. I don't think I've ever done this DLC before. What? I just picked up something. I don't know what that was, but now I have some kind of effect on me. Interesting. You can see my gun is still doing a fine job. And I'm glad to see whatever that effect was has now been dissolved. Music sounds interesting. Let's see, what is this? It's fruit punch supplies. What is hitting me? I'm wondering if this is my shield doing something weird. But I don't get it. Let's see. Tangy treat, sure packs a punch. When it's all gone, you've gained a bunch. So it's some kind of candy that increases your drop rate. Interesting. Odd that this one
Pumpkin Kingpin should be in that clearing on the other side of that gate.
seems like there's a blue and a green thing. This is weird. Just to have darkness. Kind of want to take a moment and just look around. It's kind of claustrophobic, just how tall some of these things are. And I don't know if I'm doing the right thing by How much money am I picking up now? See, 176. That's a major difference. I imagine there's probably a Cult of the Vault quest somewhere around here too. That would make sense. Instantly recharges your shield by 25%. So when your shield is low, that can help.
Oh, horseradish! The Kingpin must have cast a locking spell on this gate. You're gonna need an enchanted skeleton key. Why don't you dig up some graves and let's find ourselves some enchanted bones, you hear?
Okay.
Dagnabbit. The folks buried there must have been normal type people. We're gonna need the bones of wizards to create a working skeleton key. That looks like an enchanted skeleton right there. Why don't you give him a wallop and you should be a step or two closer to making a skeleton key.
Throw a grenade and see what kind of grenade we're using. Now I've really screwed this up.
Once you find the others and make the key, you'll be able to go toe to toe with the Pumpkin Kingpin himself. Yeehaw!
So yeah, I really screwed up by having these at level 21, but honestly it's not changing too much as far as the gameplay is concerned. It's really just the same thing. It's going to, I'm not going to get a lot of XP, but I'm hoping maybe it will reset at some point. Alright, so now we need to go up here to a wizard's tower. You can see there's like a church of some sort in here. I mean, we might as well just take our time and like release as many people as possible. Like I'm just gonna throw a grenade and see, we'll just act completely out of uncautiously. Like,
You done found another enchanted skeleton. I haven't been this happy since that time I got killed. Great! Only one more bone piece left, and then you can make yourself a skeleton key.
the rest of those guys I can just mow down. So we'll just grab some of these. Apparently the shield explodes. The shield bits explode if you don't pick them up. Or something.
Hear my skills.
And see, these are just psychos with skeleton skins on them. Which is fine by me. Honestly, that feels like something that could have been played with and done a lot more throughout the course of the main game. Seems odd that I can get back around here, but okay. Is there really no way in this building? And like, I really have no desire to try and switch guns. Like, we could switch around and see. There might be something that's a little bit faster. So it's a TV. There's clearly a chest in there, so there needs to be some way to get in here. But it might be that you get into this area later. Where am I as far as actually picking up guns? Kind of nowhere. I don't think I've picked up any guns. Which, that's kind of a refreshing idea too. Having been so built around the gun looting mechanic, and thus built around the idea of having to have an incredibly large amount of storage for that stuff has been grindy, to say the least.
Hey, you found the last enchanted skeleton. Why don't you drop him quicker than an uncomfortable subject at a family dinner?
So yeah, that gun didn't work as well. It's odd how much damage I'm managing to take. Like, something feels very wrong about the balance here. Like, I'm getting a ton of money. I'm not really getting any guns. I'm fighting level 21 characters. And interesting. And yet they're doing a lot of damage to me. So either I'm gun plus shield plus grenade equals something. Alright, let's try this. Do we have a gun that we can toss in here? Let's see, yep. And do we have a shield that we can toss in here? Yes. And do we have a grenade mod that we're willing to toss in here? Sure. Nice. And that gives us an award of things that we probably don't need. But that was fun nonetheless.
Alright! Now that you got all the enchanted bones, why don't you head to the blacksmith's and forge yourself a skeleton key? While you're there, tell Sully the blacksmith that I said hi.
So there's gonna be a slight issue in this DLC when we run into the Dungeons and Dragons DLC, because this is feeling a lot more Dungeons and Dragon-y than it really should for a Halloween style game. I feel like we're gonna trick or treat and then the enemies are gonna come out and attack us. Like fighting the Kingpin, fighting well, I guess that's not super. I guess maybe this candy is giving me a pickup area effect where you pick up items quicker. Interesting. Yeah, fighting a wizard is more of a Dungeons and Dragons thing. And we have paintings of Marcus and his family. What does this one do? Now we've got just standard spider ants. Nothing too Halloween-y about that, other than the fact that they are spiders. We certainly are in a kind of weird position with Borderlands, because what Borderlands sometimes feels like and what Borderlands sometimes is seems to not be connected. There's a roof here that I'm hitting my head on, which seems odd because it seems fairly obvious that I should be able to jump up there and get up on that floor, but for some reason it's not letting me. The thing is, the good parts that I remember about Borderlands is the characters, the dialogues, the jokes, and honestly I think that a lot of that really boils down to Borderlands 1, not even so much as Borderlands 2, because Borderlands 2 starts to go in this very serious, different direction that I don't know if I'm really going the right way, but I'm just gonna assume I am and grind through these spider ants. But doing this DLC, it's really no dialogue. We're just having the music play. The music is fine, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just not what I enjoyed. Of course, that also certainly is in part because I decided to play as the assassin, and in playing as the Firehawk in the first game was a lot more fun I've said it so many times, but it's been a while for me, so I'm going to repeat myself. Playing as the Firehawk character, which the Siren character in Borderlands 1, felt really fast-paced, felt really fun. It felt like everybody was having a good time and nobody was taking it too seriously. And the fact you can't play as the Firehawk character in the second game, after having spent hundreds of hours, like, well, me personally, I spent hundreds of hours growing to love that character, sucks. Certainly. The fact that that character then is given her own voice and it's a much more serious voice sucks. The way the story goes in Borderlands 2 makes it more serious, sucks. Now the DLC, I suppose, like, this DLC is supposed to be a little less serious, so maybe we could bring back the fun elements a little bit because of that throughout the DLC, but we're gonna have to see if that's really the case. So far we've been given a very generic couple of quests, and that's kind of been it. So we're going to the Forge, which feels like this is probably a fight sequence about to happen. See, that's visually a good gag.
You're gonna need the blacksmith's hammer to make the key. Now, where could he be? Sully? Hey, Sully! You got a customer over here? Oh, there he is! Why don't you ask him for his hammer, would you? I'm sure
Sully the blacksmith.
nicely. Sounds like you two are done talking, huh? I was sure he'd come around. Nevertheless, you better get that hammer from him.
Yeah, and that was way too easy.
Alright, now, smack those bones together and forge yourself a skeleton key.
That was way too easy. We didn't even really get a good look at that character. And I've never played this before, so I'm having kind of a bad experience playing this. Like, they really needed to pop up a warning saying, hey, don't go in here until you're ready to go in here. This is the DLC. And they kind of didn't do that. Alright, so we just placed these bones, which the skulls have been in the game since the beginning. But even in this instance, they look better and different. Apparently we have to use the hammer multiple times. And you kind of would have hoped that the hammer would have turned into something.
Got the key.
Doesn't seem like it did, though.
Lair and make the rivers run orange with pumpkin guts.
And it didn't seem like that key was a weapon. So everything is just happening way too fast. I guess that might be okay though, in the long run. Just if we quickly rush through all this DLC, then I'll be done with Borderlands 2. I don't have any particular desire to have Borderlands 2 run for 6 months, where it very possibly could have had, and it still very well might. Let's see, we still got plenty of space, so we don't have to really worry about stuff. Perhaps it was the wrong move to... Alright, see, this is a slag spider ant, so that one's not going to work. That was overkill by far. Seems like your shield sometimes drops different kinds of boosters, and the different kinds of boosters sometimes explode, sometimes don't. I definitely want to pick up that. Oh, that was just a candy. I thought that was a rare gun. This whole area, I suppose we could look at the map. I think there's a map, right? Like, we started here. We're working our way in some kind of loop back to this point. But I imagine we might get some quests that have us come back through this all. Yeah, that's too slow. I just kind of walked onto that one. I like the layout here. I feel like there could have been a lot more of stuff like that throughout the game. Areas that were more easily accessible, or it was a little more obvious that, yeah, you can have some fun with it. Yeah, this really does feel like we're gonna get some kind of trick-or-treat quest. I have no idea how this shield is supposed to work. It's these. Chance to drop an IED booster. Situational. Normal. This is the Whiskey Tango Foxtrot weapon. I think there's something crazy about that. Let's instead take something like this and equip it. I'm just gonna see how that shield decides to react. So this is like a haunted ghost bedroom based on Marcus's. Is there something more? Something more to that, or was that it? Are we gonna have to release ghosts all over the place? Here we have a different kind of pumpkin. I don't mind the idea of a shorter DLC with a lot of hidden things in it, in theory, but I'm not sure how you present that to a player and make sure that they know there's a lot of content and hidden things in it, because there is certainly been some instances in games where they've made smaller experiences, and those smaller experiences then get played by most players once, and then they don't even realize that you were supposed to play it multiple times. And the general concept of having to play something multiple times just does not work anymore like it used to in the old days. In the old days, you could have something like ghosts and goblins, or ghouls and ghosts, whichever. There's two versions by two different names, and in those games you would, that game in particular, you beat the entirety of the game, and then it makes you beat the entirety of the game a second time, even on a harder difficulty. But that kind of stuff that most people would just classify as BS, and just shenanigans, doesn't work anymore. People don't want to really replay games, particularly if there's not a lot of new content in it. See, I have this slight thought that maybe I released the ghost and I'm supposed to be releasing that ghost some more, but I really, unless I get some guidance, I'm gonna assume and ignore that that's not really the case. Certainly does feel like though we're breezing through this. Normally I'd be expecting 5-6 hours of gameplay per DLC, and there's, I think, 4 pieces of DLC here. So I'm kind of expecting at least 20 hours of gameplay, but it sort of feels like it's only gonna be I can't shoot through here. Yeah, this kind of feels like it's gonna be barely 2 hours of gameplay. And not all that has to do with them being underpowered. Like, some of this is just straight up a case of the map being small. They're making me run around, and every time I have to stand somewhere and shoot something, that is adding some time to the gameplay. Like, alright. Let's see. I think we can sell that one. I think we can sell that one. I need to just put this one in storage. I think we can sell that. And we can go ahead and sell that. And we can go ahead and sell that one. That's obviously no good. Then it's really just going to come down to... I don't think I would want to go to anything below a purple as far as a weapon is concerned.
Feeling overburdened by money.
Really, I should just need to buy grenades and one specific bullet. I really wish these stores would offer you something valuable. They really don't. There's another red skeleton. So yeah, it seems like I'm releasing some kind of ghosts that are going back to the church. Which that kind of makes sense. Where is this? It's just crawling on the ground. I'm really not a fan of the fact that some of these things can be shot and some of these things are just decorative. Same music's been playing for almost an hour straight. Still okay with it, I suppose, but interesting. This goes up and then moves down really fast so you can't get under it. Interesting.
Huh. This is definitely where the Pumpkin Kingpin lives, but he ain't here. Must be sleeping underground or something. Oh, I bet if you flooded the area, you'd probably have to come up for air. Go on and head to the windmill.
So there was in Borderlands 1 a like giant monstrous creature that you fought at the end of the Halloween DLC that was a little awkward, and you were in just this just in a weird position in a weird area that was clearly designed to be an arena area that was bigger than like even the arena areas that we've dealt with in this game at all. So we're gonna have to turn some valves at some point. Just picking up all the candy. Just grenade over there. That piece of candy over here. Seems like the yellow candy speeds up your walking speed, which is an intriguing idea. Well, if I touch this, it doesn't hurt me, it's just water, effectively. Getting a lot of money. I think after this DLC, if there's no good place to get back to the sanctuary, because there's not going to be a fast travel out of here except for from the point where we started, I'm going to probably have to do some major amount of gambling just to lower my currency. I don't think I'm gonna die and lose a lot of the gold, but also I'd like to use a lot of the gold. If it could get me enough of the iridium so that I could upgrade something, that would be really good.
Windmill ain't working, is it? Oh, great horny toads. Must be the scrack nesting up there in the blades. Better clear them all out. I'm sorry. I bet this is frustrating for you.
Now, Scrack, I think, are like half skag, No, these are like new characters. It's like, well, maybe not. Maybe they are the half Skags, half Rax characters that have just been slightly changed visually. Again, there's not going to be a great way to see any of these. Like, Borderlands really could have done with a 3D character viewer, just a modeler, and there's really no reason why it doesn't have something like that. There aren't that many enemies in the game in the first place, so it wouldn't have been hard to do. I could see myself having a lot of trouble here if I wasn't at level 34. But I am, so I'm like getting no experience for this at all.
Those abominations there were made by good old Dr. Zed.
Yep.
Speaking of which, have you seen Zed or Ned lately? What about Ted? Oh, wait, I'm so sorry. We ain't supposed to talk about the Forbidden Brother. My bad.
So now we're getting an idea that there might be a third Doctor, Ted. And so I would put that there's a decent chance we're going to fight Dr. Ted at some point in this DLC. I'm looking for any Cult of the Vault symbols and really not finding a lot of anything. Feels like they could have hidden some things in some of these places just for fun. Now, I've never been a video game tester, so I'm not gonna say I know that this is possible to do, but I'm fairly certain that it wouldn't be too hard for, in the process of video game testing, to have those testers have them be given a specific item that they could drop that would have been monitored, since everything would have been monitored. And you could say, hey, here is a place where there is nothing going on back here. Why don't you put something interesting here? Now that would be early alpha, beta, and early beta time that you could add content like that.
To legends of the creature who kicked him out of the Iridium Blight. Said there was a real big, small, or normal-sized man or woman, and that there was 1 to 4 of them. The legends are pretty vague.
That's a pretty funny joke, just referencing how any of the characters you chose to play as could have beaten the game. Let's see. Oh, that one's gone. It's odd that this feels so slow, considering how overpowered I am. You really don't get a one-shot kill. Like, I think they could rebalance so that the game did play that way. Like, set it so these are level 21 creatures I'm fighting, I'm at level 34. If I was fighting anybody at level, let's say 31, that seems reasonable. 3 levels below what I'm at right now. I should be able just to shoot them and one-shot them. They should just die really fast. Either that, or you just rebalance the game, and really it should just be the game should be rebalancing itself a lot more often. That is an interesting visual. Yeah, there really is no reason why you can't figure out, hey, did these guys need to be stronger? They need to be at a higher level. At the very least, that should have been something that should have been calculated when I traveled here. I'm gonna be slightly disappointed if it turns out we don't have to run around this area.
Showdown with the Pumpkin Kingpin. Whenever you're ready, just head back to the Kingpin's domicile. That windmill powers our hemoglobin pumps. Got a few vampires in town, and well, they make milkshakes out of blood. I had one once. It was all right.
There's also a bit of a concern here. If we look at the map, we've just kind of done all of the map. So unless there's some kind of boat or fast travel section, it feels like we've done everything. And that feels way too short. Because it really feels like we've only done like 1 or 2 quests. Maybe there's just a second part of this, or maybe the season pass on Borderlands 2 worked a little bit differently. I doubt it was cheaper, but maybe it offered more areas. I don't know if any of that's true though. It doesn't feel like it is. It really just feels like you got less content. Like, we'll have to wait and see. So that grew up. And now this is just flooding. This is probably something that the programmers were super proud of being able to do, having the area change. So he's a level 23. He's gonna take a little bit more bullets. But not a lot. He's throwing explosive pumpkins. Some kind of badass just arrived. Where is he? Oh, Pumpkinhead Knight head.
Alright! Hallowed Hollow is safe once again! Come on back for your reward whenever you want, old pal.
This isn't something you can play multiple times on the same playthrough. Like one bit of iridium. I was about to say, if I had played this for the first time, I would have been disappointed, but I literally did just play this for the first time, and I'm disappointed.
Waiting for a sonata that I will conduct.
Yeah, I guess that was a relatively good weapon. Let's see. Not really. Like, of course, none of this is going to be worth keeping. How could it be? It's way too low level. Of course, the majority of this game has been running, so we now know why that was there. That would have stopped you from exiting that way when during the battle. Yeah, throughout the course of the game, with the shift keys and golden keys, it's been made way too easy, and the game balance has been ruined because of that. So did those guys attack me just because, or was that supposed to be a storyline part of the game where the TK Baja is sending skeletons to kill me? Like, I honestly don't know. Could be one, it could be the other. Could be that they're just trying to stretch this out. So let's talk to him, and we get a skin.
Thanks for coming on by, stranger. Don't see too many new folks these days. Forever, really, on account of the blindness. One day somebody will laugh at that joke.
So we got a head. And we have another
As
quest.
payment for my watchfulness, I asked the town folks for my favorite candy, sugary brain bites. I ain't been able to collect any of those since my zombie polio started acting up again. Could you make the rounds for me and maybe bring me back as much brain-flavored candy as you can?
So, okay. It seems a little obvious that TK Baja is going to give us some quests. More than just that one, which that's slightly appreciated. I think before I can even use this skin, I have to unlock it. Head unlocked. And we'll see what we just got. The D-Lantern. But this Murder of Crows is just like DLC. That you have to purchase. But I really don't want to run around with a different head. Not that I could see it anyways. So it's been an hour. And we're going to have to run around again. I imagine it'd probably be better just to go through it like this and just go through the entire map a second time. But how fun is it really going to be to have to go through the map potentially a third time? I bet not that fun. If we were to level up, which we probably won't at this rate, we would put something in this kill skill, I imagine, and then move forward to increase our movement speed. If we were to do things to get the badass rank equipped and upgraded, that would be cool, but it's not super likely. I mean, we're just ever so slightly chipping away at some of these skills, some of these challenges, but a lot of these challenges also is just never going to be finished. This new quest is still at level 21. So it didn't readjust with the new quest, which it totally could have done at that point. Like, we had the first quest when we got that as soon as we arrived in this area, but there really was no reason for it not to rebalance itself. The only reason why it's not rebalancing itself is because they want you to actually be at a much lower level, so you play true Vault Hunter mode and you don't hit the max level, which is what would happen, I suppose, if this was more of a rebalancing game, is eventually you would just hit the max level. But I would be much happier grinding at the max level, which I think is level 66. And I could have sworn I just saw a spider come up and come down, but maybe it was just a leaf, or maybe it was a spider. Yeah, it was a leaf. I would be a lot more happy putting grinding at the max level and getting different weapons at the max level than playing this DLC and it being kind of completely pointless, which is what it really is just boiled down to. You obviously, I guess, should have done this DLC before you beat the main game, but I don't think that would have been the case for many players at all, because that would have broken up the main story, which it could have used an intermission in some places, but not this really wouldn't have helped much if that was the case. And I don't think these DLCs were really out as soon as the game was out, so people who were super in love with Borderlands 1 would have almost certainly played the entirety of the main story before any of the DLC was available. Anyways, it's been about an hour, so I'm suspecting it will be another hour and we'll be done. That's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on things like Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Google+, Steam, or Battle.net, all of those links are down below in the description box. And if you want to support me, I also have links through Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a